We're gonna do a little public service announcement. Me and my pup here. She's not gonna pay attention. But see that? That's the first calf I've lost out of these yearlings been coming in. And our little service announcement is gonna be about vaccinating your cattle. And a lot of people are gonna jump up and down and say, well, we vaccinate our cattle. Well, where these cattle come from, I could almost guarantee 99% certainty that they have never ever seen a respiratory vaccine. And you know, there's a lot of reasons for that. People have 5 cows, they got a couple cows, they can have 40 cows. Usually people got enough of those cows, they'll start doing it. But you know, people got little places, they don't have the facilities, or they just flat don't know how to work with cattle. They don't think they can, or they don't think it's worth it to do it. Well, a bottle of like Bovishield Gold, it's a very, very good IBR. It cost 20 bucks. I think it's 20 bucks for 10 doses. So, you know, if you gotta load up your calves and take them somewhere, you know somebody who's got pens, just spend the 20 bucks and vaccinate your calves. Because the reality of it is, you can take them, and when you sell them, they're worth more money. They're worth a lot more money. You can get 20 cents more a pound for them. You know, that pays for your time and your effort right there. Now, a lot of people don't band or castrate their steers, and they won't dehorn their cattle. You know, we can live with that. We've got ways of taking care of that. Cover up my camera there. We've grown accustomed to it. But as something as simple as vaccinating your calves, I don't know why people don't do it. You know, that I think a lot of people don't do it is because they take their calves and they pull them off their cow and they dump them straight into a sale barn, and that's it. They get their money, they walk away from it, they're happy. They don't care what happens. You know, they're just after some quick cash. Well, what happens is when we get those cattle, we have to dump so much antibiotics into them if they get sick, and most of the time we can't save them. That calf there, when they buy these calves from me, the minute they come out of that sale barn, they're given Exceed. That way they have an antibiotic in their system, because it may take them a week to get them to me as they're buying calves, and they're put out on green feed and everything, so they have something in them. When they come here, usually we mass treat with Draxxin. There's a lot of people who don't like the fact that we mass treat cattle. You know, we're just dumping all these antibiotics in our meat. Well, we have to do that because people don't vaccinate their cattle. And it's like giving your kids vaccines. And so we have to dump all this money and pump all these antibiotics into our cattle, because death loss is just tremendous if you don't. This calf was given Exceed. It was given a round of Draxxin when it got here, because it had gotten down in the trailer the last little bit, so it looked like heck. We went ahead and doctored it, you know, and that could be the cause. I knew I was gonna lose this calf, almost certain I was gonna lose it, just because it had a rough trip. The trip's 12 hours to begin with, and the guy had a flat tire, so you throw another hour and a half on that. And then the calves got here, and we had terrible wind for days, and so you're blowing dirt through the pens. The cattle just come out of a sale barn. That's hard on the cattle. You're gonna get sickness there. But that's what the vaccines are for. They help with shipping fever, and that's what it is. You know, they get pulled off their mamas and they get sent to us. Well, they get sick, and that's why we give them the vaccines. But people don't want to do it, and instead of spending, you know, $10, $12 on antibiotics just in case there's a problem, we're dumping $80 into a calf, $90, and the calf's gonna die. You know, I think as producers, people need to be more conscious about this. They need to vaccinate their cattle. I know people don't want to be told what to do, but you know, as little people as there are saying good things for the cattle industry, you know, this is one thing we could do and really get behind. That's why we're getting premiums for our cattle on Superior, because we follow a strict vaccination program. When you're seeing 20 cents more per pound minimum on a return, you know, it's well worth your time. We've got too many people who are moaning and groaning about the antibiotics we're putting into our cattle to keep them alive. Well, if you vaccinate your cattle, you can help cut some of that. We won't have to spend this huge amount of money. And it's like that calf died, you know, that if it had been vaccinated and if a lot of other things had happened, you know, we could cut our death loss down tremendously, and you don't have to watch $1,000 bills just burn away. But that's part of being in this business, especially in the feeding business, because you're going to see a lot of that. And we could get around some of that and buy cattle locally. But then you start getting into the way the stock market's been, and it's so out of whack. You can't buy cattle here locally for the price they are and make it work feeding them. You know, the numbers don't work. So we buy cheaper cattle. And this is why they're cheaper. They're a lot cheaper. But if you're watching this and you don't vaccinate your cattle, I would really appreciate if you'd do us all a favor and do that, because you know, just one round would be nice. You're gonna spend $20 to do 10 head. We're spending hundreds of dollars to keep them alive, and most of the time they die. You know, we're gonna spend at least 20 or 30 minimum just giving mass treatments to everything. So, you know, your calves are gonna be worth more, and you know, we might not have to put so much money into them. But that's just part of the business. I think you need to take care of your cattle. Take care of them like your kids. And if you're not taking care of your kids, well, then you probably shouldn't be taking care of cattle. But, you know, let's start with just the calves. But thanks for watching.